Hello student, very good morning to all of you. How are you? I hope you all are happy, healthy and fine at home. Do you remember what were we discussing yesterday? I think yesterday we were discussing about the seventh way of synthesizing the longifulin. And as we know that the longifulin, it is a tricyclic, there are the certain important characteristic or the some of the significant feature of the longifulin is as follows. Number one, it is a tricyclic, it is a hydrocarbon, there are four stereogenic centers are present, it is an optically active and it act as it exhibit the medicinal properties, and the main objective to synthesize this longifulin type of the compound in the laboratory, the student should make aware of how to make the carbon new bond formation. There are number of method available for the formation of carbon new bond, and that's why such type of the synthesis is helpful to improve the ability to understand, or there is a addition extra knowledge they can acquire by learning such type of the synthesis, because such a synthesis are very important, because different method for making new carbon bond, as well as how the care has been taken to maintain the stereochemistry of the compound while making the new carbon bond, and such and more type of the technique student should acquire by from this type of the synthesis, and that's why university introducing such type of the challenging syllabus at a MSc second level, so that students should compete with the global challenges. That's the main objective. Let's discuss today. Right now we are going to discuss, that is a eighth way of synthesizing longifulin in the laboratory. So far we have learned 7 methods how to synthesize longifulin in the laboratory by using different precursor, different starting material and the different reagent at a different reaction condition. Overall yield obtained in a different percentage. Still, one of the way how it is better than the other one, that type of the competition, you can notice while synthesizing these kind of the longifulin. This is the second last way of synthesizing longifulin in the laboratory that we are discussing. This is the scheme number 13.31, longifulin synthesis. This synthesis was described by two scientists. The name of those two scientists are written over here, D.L. Coe and T. Manning. They have described the longifulin here by using different starting material and different reagent at a different reaction condition, and they got the desired product whatever they wish to obtain. They have achieved that molecule which is a longifulin. So what that D.L. Coe and T. Manning they had taken as a starting material is this one. This is a starting material they have taken here. This is a starting material which they have taken. This is a strained molecule which is a starting material containing, it is a bicyclic ketone groups, and now here addition of A reagent. The A reagents are like this: number 1 Br2, HBr. This is generally employed in acetic acid, ACOH, or you can write HOAC. The second reagent used here, once again Br2, then Cl SO2 H, chlorosulfonic acid SO3H, that the chlorosulfonic acid employed or used in this reaction, and the third consecutive or the successive reagent added over here, zinc in presence of acetic acid ACOH. Then the fourth reagent they have added here Ki, that is a potassium iodide. Then the next reagent, fifth reagent, they have taken here HOCH2 twice and tetramethyl silyl chloride, TMSCl, tetramethyl silyl chloride, and finally the sixth reagent which they have added here, NaCl, that is a sodium cyanide in presence of DMSO, dimethyl sulfoxide, used as a solvent over here. And what they got the product which I am going to represent here. See carefully, here is a product which they have got, this one, OO, this one, and this remains as it is. If you observe the product carefully, what do you see in the product? The changes, you observe the changes over here. Carbonyl group, it gets protected, where this methyl group, particularly one of the hydrogen atom of that methyl group, get converted into the cyanide group. How this happen? Let's see here. Br2 hydrogen bromide in presence of the acetic acid. When these kind of the reagent use, these reagent specifically replacing one of the hydrogen atom by Br2. Br means their bromination, then again Br2Cl SO3, it's the same function, then ZnACOH, zinc dust in presence of acetic acid. By adding all these reagents together, the resulting compound of 10 here the Br, and when it is added as a Ki, Br get replaced by iodide. There is a halide exchange takes place. It is a well-known reaction. So according to that halide exchange take place, then there is this compound which and trimethylsilyl chloride, the protection of carbonyl group, which is clearly protection carried out over here, and then sodium cyanide in presence of DMSO, dimethyl sulfoxide. As we know that the structure of dimethyl sulfoxide will be this one. Instead of oxygen there will be a sulfur, so this will be the structure of dimethyl sulfoxide. It acts as a solvent over here, and that Br get replaced by the cyanide group, and that's why we are getting the product here. Means all these reagents adding one by one, and we are getting, finally we are ending with the product. We obtain the product, this one. This is a carbonyl group is protected, and there one of the hydrogen atom get replaced by the cyanide group. So these are the things are taking place over there. Then after that, when adding the reagent B over here, this is the A reagent. Now we are going to add as a B reagent. Let us see, first one is the LDA. LDA, we know that lithium diisopropyl amide. The structure also we know that lithium diisopropyl lithium N, then diisopropylamide. This is a structure of LDA. L indicate as a lithium, D means there are the two dimethyl isopropyl amide. Okay, this is the compound which we got. Then it will be further treated with Br LDA, and after that adding Br, then CH2 thrice CH, CH, not CH, O 3 times, and then O, T, B, D, M, T, B, T, B, D, M. Yes, T, B, D, M, yes, and T, B, D, M, yes means tertiary butyl. Tertiary butyl, T stands for tertiary butyl dimethyl silyl chloride. So that is a full form of which is a protecting group, very good protecting group for the alcoholic OH. And after that, the second reagent employed here will be K is a potassium in presence of HMPA, hexamethyl hexamethyl phosphoramide, and that structure also we will see later on, but here the meaning of that HMPA is a hexamethyl phosphoramide. Then a third reagent is added over here is a HCl, hydrochloric acid. Then the fourth reagent is added here, PDC. PDC means pyridium dichromate. This is the oxidizing reagent which also used in this reaction. Then the reagent number 5 which they have used, it is this one, CS3O thrice C, CH, CH, then CCl3, cerium chloride, or trichloride you can say. Then number 6, once again LDA, dimethyl lithium diisopropyl amide, LDA, lithium diisopropyl amide, and then TMSCl, that is a tetramethyl silyl chloride. These are the reagents when added. What do you get? The compound which we are going to get is this one. After adding all these reagents, finally we will end up with the compound which we are going to get here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, then CH, and here you can remember CH3O twice, CH3O twice, and at this point there is a double bond, and here is a O, TMS. This is a protected silyl ether, silyl enol ether, silyl enol. This is a silyl enol ether is formed over there. That is, it will protect the enol over here. So what are the role playing each reagent? In this case LDA, Br2, CH2, 3 times OTBS, LDA will pick up the proton from here, and this is going to attack on that CH2, then potassium hexamethyl phosphoramide and the HCl. Again there is a pyridium dichlorochromate, then this get replaced by that cerium, and again LDA TMSCl get protected this one, so double bond will form over there. By adding all these reagents suitably, we will get as a this reagent. So this is a B reagent we added. Now let us see the further A, B, and now is a C reagent we are going to add over here. C reagent only TiCl4, that is a titanium tetrachloride, which is a very good reagent. Generally it is used in the polymer synthesis. So by adding this TiCl4, there is a tricyclic ring will be formed, and that you are going to get the compound here. The compound you are going to get this one, this and this remains as it is here, C double bond O, oxygen atom, and now the ring will be formed, this one, then this, adding here there will be O CH3. That is the compound we obtain after adding TiCl on this. Suitably we are getting as a formation of the tricyclic ring. Now let us add here reagent we can ABC. Now is a D reagent. Now the D reagents are added over here, that is a calcium in presence of liquor ammonia. First one, calcium in presence of liquor ammonia. Second reagent, we are adding acetic anhydride AC2O in presence of DMAP. DMAP, acetic anhydride and dimethyl azophosphoride, that type of the compound. Then third one, dimethyl phosphorus, then BBr3 bromine boron, boron, 15 crown 5 is a 15 crown 5. Then there will be a sodium iodide. Then fourth one is a PDC. That is a pyridium dichromate. Then fifth one is added as a Wittig reagent. Fifth one, PH3 P double bond CH2. That is a reagent. And sixth one is added as a sixth one, lithium aluminum hydride LiAlH4. And the seventh point the added over here is CH2I2, CH2I2 and the ET twice Zn. This is the reagent. These are the different reagent used here as a D reagent. Calcium in presence of liquor ammonia, acetic anhydride in presence of DMAP, then tribromo boron in presence of crown ether 5, 15 crown 5, sodium iodide, then pyridium dichromate, then Wittig reagent, we know that, and then lithium aluminum hydride, and finally CH2I2 in presence of diethyl zinc. After adding all these things, what could be the product? What would be the product we are getting? We are getting the product. Here I am going to show that product here. The product will be this one. This is a product which we are going to get over here. So methyl group, then this, and this one, where we will get here is a cyclopropane type of the ring, and here the OH group is formed over there. So by adding calcium in presence of liquor ammonia, acetic anhydride all together, and finally we will end up with the product here, this one OH and this cyclopropane as a ring. And finally there is a E reagent, and the E reagents are such as H2 in presence of platinum and the acetic acid ACOH. The second reagent will be added, the PCC, that is a pyridium chlorochromate, which is a oxidizing reagent used here. Then third one, lithium aluminum hydride, which is a reducing reagent used in this reaction. And the fourth one, the reagent will be CS3SO3Cl and SO2 Cl, not SO3, SO2 methyl sulfoxide chloride, pyridine and DMAP, that is a dimethyl DMAP. And by doing all these things, finally the structure which we are getting is a longifulline. We are getting as a longifulline. This is a structure, and as we know that the structure of longifulline will be this one. There is this and double bond methyl group over here. This is a structure of longifulline which we got over here. So in this way we have seen the structure of that longifulline. We got here LDA, lithium diisopropylamide, that structure we already know that. TBDMS, that is a tertiary butyl dimethylsilyl, that is a TBU Me2SiCl, is represented by here like this. Let me show some abbreviations which we have used in this synthesis, or one is a TBDM, yes, TBDMS, that is a tertiary butyl dimethyl. This is a tertiary butyl dimethyl silyl, Cl, that is there. Then hexamethyl phosphoramide, PA, hexamethyl phosphoramide, the hexamethyl phosphoramide, hexamethyl phosphoramide. The structure of this tertiary butyl, dimethyl silyl is this one, tertiary butyl dimethyl Me2SiCl. Means we can draw the structure here. Then SiCl, Me and Me. This is a structure of tertiary butyl dimethyl silyl chloride, like this. Then next will be the PCC. PCC means pyridium chlorochromate. Pyridium chlorochromate, which is a full form of that, which is oxidizing reagent, and the structure of pyridium chlorochromate is this one, N. Then as we know that here is H, positive charge, then O minus Cr chlorochromate, double bond O and Cl. This is the structure of pyridium chlorochromate. And the structure of this hexamethyl phosphoramide will be this one, P double bond O, then N DCS3, N. Hexamethyl means there are the 6 methyl, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that's why hexamethyl phosphoramide. And then PDC, pyridium dichromate. PDC means what? PDC, the structure, the PDC means pyridium dichromate. Pyridium dichromate. The structure of pyridium dichromate will be this one. This is a structure which I am going to represent over here. H, it is a positive, in O minus Cr double bond O, O, then Cr double bond O, then O minus H plus nitrogen, here double bond, this is a double bond. This is a structure of pyridium dichromate. And I think in the next lecture we are going to discuss the last way of synthesizing, means 9th way of synthesizing longifulin in the laboratory, that we will see in the next lecture. Till then, have a nice day. Thank you.